Testing.
Testing.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Ring the Bell podcast right here on Insane Games TV. December 26th edition, and looking back from his little field trip into New Orleans. He survived, so we welcome Tyler back. Got a few stuff to go over this week. We got a lot of got some news going on. Our last episode of 2019, so maybe we'll do a little bit of review of what happened throughout WWE and AEW, or the world of wrestling, this year for 2019. We're also going to talk about the top 20 returns of the last 10 years. So the last decade, top 20 returns. Can you guess who may be number one?
No.
Really?
John Cena. Boo, boo, doo, boo.
The Rock.
Could be.
The Rock?
It could be.
Stone Cold? Stone Cold!
Could be. So we got a lot to go over here tonight. Let's start. We'll get right into it. Hot takes. Actually, first off, got a lot going on here at the channel this week. Remember, we launched our full channel launches the week of January 6th, Monday, January 26th. This weekend, we have a special Call of Duty special event here on the channel, which will be streaming probably starting at 1 o'clock. Call of Duty 2v2 gunfight with our very own channel's AC Weezy is in it. So he playing in the 2v2 challenge. Tom and Mike are in it, and also we got who else is in there? We got Boder and Dave doing commentary on the side. So we got a lot of stuff going on for the 2v2 gunfight. So really looking forward to that. That starts at 1 o'clock this Saturday. So make sure you tune into that. Otherwise, full launch January 6th. Insane Games TV. Follow us right there on Twitch. You also watch all of our episodes on YouTube at Insane Games TV, and so on. So let's get right into it. Hot takes. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
Yeah, you definitely go first.
So what I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it short, and I'm going to not get into too much detail because I don't want to spoil some of the stuff for our viewers. But WWE, the Gossip Mill, is already starting with who WWE has already had planned to win the Royal Rumble. And you know, what?
Who would they say?
Oh, Roman Reigns. It's going to be a Roman Reigns year. Well, of course, because, they got to get Roman Reigns back into the picture after he's been gone, or put him on to the side. But, it just... Are you really going to be happy with a Roman Reigns victory? It's just... No. No one is. No one is. It's going to be boring. It's going to be another 5 months of everything Roman Reigns. It'll be a stupid rivalry for No Way Out or something like that. And then it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns again, a match you've seen 8 times. And it's just going to be the same thing. And it's just typical WWE storylines that are boring. and but I don't know why they're so determined to pick someone. I guess if it's less than a month away, they need to know what the road to WrestleMania is going to be, but it's just like, can we pick? I forget who I saw was the other potential person for the women's division, but it was an upcoming, no one recognizable, but it was someone up and coming. But yeah, it's just classic. My hot take this week is just stupid picking for Royal Rumbles. How about we put someone entertaining, like someone that actually people can like. Did Kofi Kingston win it last year, right? Who won it last year?
I don't know. I need to look it up.
Was it Kofi Kingston that began the road?
Was it 2019 Royal Rumble?
I thought it was Kofi Kingston that began the road to him winning the title.
It was Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, oh, no, I was wrong.
Because Seth Rollins faced Brock Lesnar and Kofi Kingston faced
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it's Seth Rollins, it's Roman Reigns, it's one of those guys. You know what I would like to see? You know who should win it? Samoa Joe.
Who?
Samoa Joe.
Oh my God! After you were so low on him being a commentator, now you think that he should win the Royal Rumble. Why?
Because he should win the Royal Rumble, and they need to. If Samoa Joe's come back, he needs to be a top wrestler. We can keep playing. First of all, Samoa Joe deserves to have the title, deserves to be the best heel in the business with the title, and deserves a road to WrestleMania. That's my opinion.
It's a good opinion, I guess, but I don't know. Is he going to be healthy enough to participate in the Royal Rumble?
Well, he just got attacked on Monday Night Raw, so I assume he's ready. He's full out, ready to go.
So when do they have him coming back then?
I would assume he's done. I'm assuming he's coming back now. If they attacked him on Monday Night Raw, he's got to be cleared for action then, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he can take bumps and bruises and not be cleared.
True.
So I take it his stunt as a Raw commentator is over, would be my opinion. But Samoa Joe should be who I think should be lined up for Royal Rumble. But that's my hot take. It's the usual bullshit storyline you get from WWE. It's always the same three guys winning the Royal Rumble. And it just becomes. I saw this information before, and now it doesn't make me look all that excited for the Royal Rumble. If it's accurate, but we'll see. So
are they saying where Roman Reigns is going to be listed at?
No.
First or 30th or?
No. It could very well be a false. It could be it very well could be a false rumor.
Who are your sources?
I can't disclose my sources.
Can't disclose your sources?
No.
Like you have someone that's in WWE?
What's your hot take?
Quite the hot take then. My hot take, like I told you today, I have officially announced that NXT is by far the hottest show on wrestling as a whole. And I don't think it's even close. I think the storylines are better. I think the promos are better. I think the wrestlers are better. And I honestly think I actually like the enclosed crowd kind of look, where it's not like too many people, where it's almost like the crowd is on top of you, but it's more like controlled. So that's all that they can fit into it. But yeah, I just think NXT is just miles ahead of Raw, SmackDown, AEW, you name it. And I just think they have a lot of great stars. And if I were a wrestler right now, I would solely only want to be on NXT.
Yeah, I agree with you.
In aspect to to wrestling as a whole, what are the ratings like between all the shows?
Well, Raw leads
who's
the way,
winning them?
Obviously.
What are we doing here?
I had to move something. It was getting in the way. Well, Raw leads the way, I think. Who are you comparing in ratings?
Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW.
I think it goes Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW back and forth. They switch back and forth.
Well, don't you have those ratings here?
I have Raw for this week.
Oh, because AEW wasn't on this week.
No,
that's another thing
and
I don't really like is that AEW wasn't on. They practically shot themselves in the foot. Makes no sense why you're not on.
Because they're doing the whole they don't want to be on the road like WWE. They're trying to make the morale of the company better. So they play the game where we're not going to make our wrestlers travel on Christmas Eve. And that's or Christmas Day, and that's what their big selling point was. So it goes down to my hot take last week, where they're just so determined to do everything against WWE. It's just like, do a show. But you're right. I think they lost ground for not having a show this week.
Yeah, because when I was watching AEW and Chris Jericho said that they weren't going to be on on the 25th, but they would be back on January 1st, I'm like, well, why are you going to be on New Year's Day but not Christmas? You know? And it's not like the show is, maybe have the show somewhere like close to where all the wrestlers live, or at least try and do it. I mean, have it in Florida or something like that where, they could easily travel, leave their family at like 4 o'clock and then hit the plane and get to the road. But I don't know. I was just kind of, I don't know. I thought it was weird because WWE always had shows on Christmas or, they probably never had any on Thanksgiving, but it was either always on Christmas
they did. I
or
remember
Easter.
They had the big
Not
Thanksgiving
Easter.
bash.
Canada and Easter. Maybe it was only Christmas.
They had the Thanksgiving bash every once in a while. So I mean, ratings-wise, I mean, I think NXT is going to get a big jump over AEW this week, with them not having a show. I think considering that they're going back and forth in the ratings that they are, I think it's considerable bad mistake not to have a show. Because basically, what the problem is, you're getting people who may be undecided in between the two shows,
right?
That they may not be able to. If let's say you're an AEW fan and you're NXT and you watch AEW, even though you want to watch both, but you choose AEW first. When there's no AEW, you're now watching NXT, no matter what. So now all the people that were on the fence of which ones to watch, and now they watch NXT and they love it so much, well, now they have no choice. Now they're gonna go watch NXT and be done with it.
And NXT kind of killed it too. I thought it was a great idea having 2 different venues in Brooklyn and Florida. And then just like going back to the studio with whatever the one chick's name is, Sam Roberts and Pat McAfee. I thought that was brilliant. I thought, it's something different that nobody really does. And I think that's why NXT is separating itself from everybody else. But you wrote Raw had 1.9, is that million viewers?
Yeah, well, for the first hour. So is your hot take over with?
Yeah, it's been over with.
In the news, we gotta get like a big thing that goes in the news.
It's called transitioning, Dan.
News.
You don't have to break everything up. We can just transition into it.
Yes, Raw viewers were down this week. First hour was 1.9, the second hour was 1.8, and the third hour was 1.7. They had zero viewers over 2 million. I think it's a lot. I think that's the worst. I read it's the second to worst viewership ever of all time, besides one from Christmas Eve 2018. I mean, that's just it's just the second to worst show. I think is pretty bad.
You have SmackDowns and AEWs or NXTs from the week prior?
Let me look. I don't think I have it in front of me. NXT didn't come out with their ratings yet for this week. What's that?
I can't get no noise to play through. Like even with a headset, it's so low you can barely hear it.
But yeah, can you try it on that one, Mike? Is that possible or no? That has a different power to it.
If you just plug that HDMI in it, maybe.
So, yeah, Mike, you can hop in. If you had to go in front of me, you can come in front of me. But, second worst show of all time. What? The worst show was Raw 2018 on Christmas Eve. And, but, I mean, you can say it has to do with, I don't think it has anything to do with Paul Heyman or anything like that. It's just the way that I think the time of the year. I think it was leading up to Christmas Eve. It just wasn't a good time to have a live show. Actually, it wasn't live. I don't know if you knew this, but Raw actually taped.
I didn't know that.
Raw taped 2 shows on December 16th and the 23rd. That they did 6 hours from, I think they started live at 6 p.m. and they went to 11 p.m. They did 2 shows, no commercial breaks, and they filmed both shows at the same time, and then had some political guys. They did 2 shows at the same time, and then yeah.
Mike's bicep looking big, looking swole. Finally hitting the gym. New year, new him.
A little bit.
Has enough money from winning fantasy football, so should be able to get a gym membership for a year.
Yeah. Donate it to you guys.
But yeah. So they did the 2 shows. Jerry the King Lawler was talking about it on one of the podcasts that he was on. That they did it in 5 hours, and it was completely exhausting because they had. There was no commercial, so they're going nonstop for almost 5 hours, which is kind of crazy. So, yeah. So also in the news, the big, I don't know if you guys heard, Edge returning, possibly. The rumors that Edge is returning to WWE, that he's just signed a new contract, and apparently there's a return. He's been working
returning
out.
in what aspect? I was kind of confused when I heard that.
I guess returning in some kind of capacity of, I'm guessing, a match or 2 leading up to a match at WrestleMania. The classic legend, where these guys come back for 1 or 2
And
matches.
he's been cleared with his neck?
I guess. Apparently he was spotted at one of the WWE trainers where they go over all like the necks and backs and everything like that.
I love how like these guys like Daniel Bryan, Edge, like they're just like, oh, I'll never be able to wrestle again, and then like 5 years later, new medicine comes out, and they're like, oh yeah, your neck is fine, you can wrestle, even though you're 5 years older. It makes no sense to me, absolutely no sense whatsoever. But I mean, if he comes back, that'd be totally cool, just because he never really had a send-off match.
I'm all out of the Star Wars games right now. Yeah, but the new movie coming out, everyone wants one. Yeah, I think it'd be great. It's funny you say that. Has it been what, 6, 7, 8 years? When's the last time he's wrestled?
I thought it was like 2000.
Is it 10? Maybe 10 years.
No, I think it was. Thought it was 2014. No, 2011. Yeah, 2011.
So it's been about 8 years.
Yeah, which is just incredible to me. I mean, let's see. I don't know how old he is. He's probably definitely around 46.
Messing around a couple more.
But yeah, I mean, I think, do you remember he won the title and then he gave it up, right? Is that
yeah.
what?
Oh, he is 46 exactly. Called it.
But he's coming. I mean, so he probably looking for
when,
one last run.
When he was walking down to talk to the crowd, he had the title in his hand and he had to give it up.
I think he was the title. I think he was a champion for a while. I don't think he just won it and gave it up. I think he was a champion for quite a while and ended up giving it up. But yeah, I mean, I think that'd be great to see. I think that's like what, when you look at wrestlers that could possibly come back that haven't been back in a while, and obviously, CM Punk is probably the top one. And you look at potential other people who could come back that haven't been back. Like Edge, I honestly forget about Edge. I forgot about Edge for a long time, as how big he was back when he retired.
He was number 1 in the company.
Right, and so it's just kind of weird to see that when he can all of a sudden he comes back and.
He had that on stereo and compressed.
Yeah, so I think that'd be great. I heard he's possibly coming back, maybe a Royal Rumble return with a match that leads into Are
they saying this WrestleMania or the next one?
This one. Potentially this Royal Rumble.
Strange. It might.
But yeah, so a lot of criticism going around Charlotte Flair's current booking. You've been watching a lot of Charlotte Flair, right? The women's division.
A little bit. I mean, they're saying they have a lot of problems with their booking with Becky Lynch and Charlotte. I guess now, what are they saying about Charlotte?
I guess I just don't like the fact that how she's being booked. You know, you got Asuka and you got Becky Lynch battling for the title, and then you have just Charlotte Flair just sitting there as like a tag team partner, not really doing anything. And
Right.
and you know, and yeah, you know, it does seem a little weird that that she's not really. But again, I mean, you can't always be the champion. You know what I mean? There comes a point where you can't always have the same two people as the champion and the same two people. You know, there comes a point in time where Charlotte Flair just like anyone.
See, I disagree with that. I think that if she's the best in the company, which I think she is, she should always be in the title hunt, just like her dad was, just like The Rock was, just like Triple H was.
Well, was The Rock really always? If you think about it, was The Rock always really in the title
anytime The Rock was a wrestler, he was always either going for the Intercontinental Championship or the Heavyweight Championship.
Right.
Every single time. He was always in the hunt because he was the best. I mean, Charlotte Flair puts on a great promo. She's a great in-ring wrestler. I think she should always be in the hunt. I mean, granted, yeah, they have more women wrestlers than they do now, and they only have 2 women's championships with the tag team and the women's championship. But I feel like if you have someone as talented as her, she should always be in the fight. Yeah, and just with different people, whether it be Becky Lynch. I think they should even put Asuka in there. She should definitely not be a tag team person because she's great too. And just mix it around. Maybe even throw some triple threat matches, fatal 4-ways, Hell in a Cell, you name it. I feel like they have gotten so far away from the singles aspect in the women's division, and it's solely focused on tag team. Like they're mixing and mashing all these people together, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Right. No, I agree with you, and the criticism apparently comes from Corey Graves. Was talking, made some comments on Twitter, and I guess Ric Flair himself jumped in and said he didn't like the way she was currently being booked. So it must be, I really haven't been paying much attention to. I mean, I have, but I haven't been paying much attention to her not being recognized. So I mean,
I didn't even notice it until you said something. But now that I think about it, she's hardly, she's wrestling like nobody. She has no meaningful storyline, and once this month ends, once we get into January and up to the Royal Rumble, everything just speeds up and full on pursuit to WrestleMania. So I would be kind of concerned if I didn't have any good storyline. Like honestly, I don't even think as a company as a whole, there's that many good storylines out there right now besides Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens in the AOP, and then Daniel Bryan, The Miz, and Bray Wyatt. And now King Corbin. But I don't think King Corbin should really be even involved, but they're probably just adding him,
Right. All right, so that's in the news. That's the first 20 minutes of the podcast. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be right back.
Did you buy it, or because it stays connected with your account, you have to re-download it, but you don't have to pay anything like that.
Hey, we're back. Second half of Behind the Counter, and I'm gonna vent for a minute. It's funny. Mike and I were talking here before we started live, and as you guys all know, we're live in the store while we stream, and things are always going on.
Like this baby crying in the background.
And
this baby's been crying for legit 5 minutes. Like, are the parents around? Like, some SOS find this baby's parents.
It's funny how
it's just am I clear in the store? Am I clear?
Yeah.
I've never seen anything. Mike and I literally had this talk. We're gonna get off subject for a minute. We literally had this talk before we went live, and we said a big return is gonna happen in the middle of our stream. And
what do you expect? December 26th is National Return Your Gift
But it's like,
Day.
no. The whole point is there's been nothing like all day. Like, it's just been like, we haven't had any. And the biggest return is just like anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Like the credit card machine wasn't working for a minute. Like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong in that like 2 minute stretch. It's baffling. It gets me every time. All right. So let's get into it now. Second half of Ring the Bell podcast, Insane Games TV. Sorry for the mess as we get going, and hopefully we'll get it worked out. We actually can be live and not have to so much stuff going on during our sets. Let's review Raw and NXT this week. With us broadcasting on Thursday for this one time, we can discuss NXT and what happened last night. Let's start with Raw, though. We'll go right in order. Raw went on. You're up to date on Raw, right?
Correct.
So what did you think of Raw? Was it a stupid show? I mean, first off, let's remember, Raw wasn't live. Raw was actually taped.
So what you're saying, now I see what you're saying. They taped half the show on the 16th and the other half on the 23rd.
Correct.
Yeah,
They
I mean, really the only good part about that whole entire Raw was when, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins were going at it. I mean, that's really about it. It was an uneventful Raw, if you ask me. And, I mean, I always feel like that's what happens during the holiday season. Like I told you, I think it was yesterday, I was like, this has been a pretty slow week, so there's not going to be that much to talk about. But it was pretty uneventful, and I'm hoping it's going to pick up just because the Royal Rumble's coming up, and, they kind of need to before WrestleMania hits.
No, I mean you had the whole. I like the storyline that's going on with the it's TV2. I like the whole thing going on with the Seth Rollins AOP storyline. I kind of like that clan meshing together. I think it's a pretty good thing. So I'm happy.
Now you do.
I like they need that. They need that whole getting back and forth and getting that whole. I like you got to have an alliance that's the heel on Raw. That's my opinion. Of any show, you got to have that. You got to have it where they're the main villain, and I like what they're doing with Seth Rollins. I like the villain change, the heel change, and I like giving him like a little posse that's like his badass group.
I think his look is so much better for a heel than a face.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes way more sense.
It's like to me. I had the same question with The Miz. I say to myself, do I like The Miz as a heel or do I like The Miz as a face? And because me personally, I think The Miz is very close to being the next Rock without purposely being the next Rock. You got all the people that like for example, like Roman Reigns, or let's use Kevin Owens. They're obviously trying to make Kevin Owens the next Stone Cold. Don't make it obvious. You can have someone be the next person without making it obvious. I think The Miz is the next Rock for not obvious reasons, but when you think about it, are obvious reasons. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Okay?
I understand what you're saying.
What you mean is they're not purposely trying to make him the Rock, but he obviously has things that are very similar to The Rock, like his entrance, where he goes, awesome, and then the music hits. It's like The Rock, if you smell, and then boom, you have the music. Okay, you have the catchphrases that are very similar to what he does and what The Rock does, and you have the whole, obviously, the dress gimmick and you know, the $750 shirt that he wears, like The Rock used to wear. He used to walk, this is a $75, you know, this is a $122 shirt, or this is a $897. Like, he always talks about how expensive his shirts are. I think those two are very the same. Seth Rollins, in my opinion, can be a good guy, but I think he makes an even better heel. I think he makes a great
honestly,
heel.
I don't even think he makes a good guy. I think anybody that doesn't make a good guy is the guys that try too hard to pander to the crowd.
Right.
Meaning that they like, I did this for you, like, you guys are the reason why I did, like, I can't stand that. Like, Kevin Owens, I mean, he's obviously more like the Stone Cold Steve Austin right now, you know, with not giving an F about anybody, but I think that's the type of face that you need, is someone that's not, like, always going, oh, I did this for the WWE Universe, or I did this for that, or, you know, they're doing it for themselves, but they're fighting against the bad guys, because the bad guys are causing chaos and making it hell for them.
And you're telling me, like, let me ask you a question, because you're a big Stone Cold fan. Are you telling me that you like the whole Kevin Owens thing that they're doing?
I do.
Do you like the obviousness of him being the next Stone Cold, or do you think it's too childish, like too PG?
No, I don't think it's too PG, because he's adding his own flavor to it. It's not like he's flipping someone off and saying, you know, or like going bald or anything like that. Like, he has a whole different look, which I can respect. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's using the same finisher. Yeah, he's kind of playing the same role, but I feel like he's also tweaking in a way that makes it his own. Like, sitting in the middle of the ring on a chair. Like, I don't really remember. Kevin Owens was, like, really the only person that ever did that, and he did that before they tried to change him to be more like Stone Cold Steve Austin, right. I feel like.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they recycle a lot of characters, though. I mean, they've done it with a number of people. I mean, what's his name? Bobby Roode. They changed it to... Didn't they change it to... Bob Roode?
Robert Roode.
I mean, and he's like the same gimmick as Rick Rude. Like, literally to the T. Now he's changing his name to Bob, and then his last name's Rude. The other guy's name was Rude. They're both ladies' mans. They're both glorious. They're both wearing long, luxurious robes. Like, I mean, they recycle characters all the time. It's just like, you know, trying not to make it obvious. I get your point, but I don't think Kevin Owens are making it that obvious.
Right. I mean, my opinion...
I mean, you could technically say Bray Wyatt's character is kind of similar to The Undertaker, but it's completely different.
Right. My opinion, is, you know, I like what I like when I don't know. I guess I dislike overall. I think it's, if they're gonna make him like the next Stone Cold. Stone Cold was a badass in a time where you could swear, there was blood, there was more PG related items. You want to bring this guy?
I've seen a lot of blood lately, by the way, since you bring that up.
Yeah. I feel like if you're going to bring the guy back to play that role, you're going to have him play the role in this PG thing that you're doing. I mean, I just don't think it's the right... So I think
they're trying to twist and turn it into like more PG-13. You can obviously tell.
Right.
You know, they're starting to swear a little bit more. They're a little loose with their language. I mean, shit, on SmackDown, Elias basically is rolling out every sexual innuendo you could think of. So...
But I mean, at the end of the day, I think they need to let these characters develop their own. And again, I'm using it. I guess when you have Kevin Owens, who you see they're clearly trying to make the next Stone Cold, and then you have The Miz, who is like the next Rock, but not purposely trying to be. I guess there's a difference. You have a guy trying to be the next guy who isn't trying to do it on purpose, but really is kind of doing it. And then you have this guy who is purposely been trying to become the next Stone. I guess you look at the different roads that they're going, and I think the Miz character is much more authentic than the Kevin Owens character. And I think these guys should try to become like the other wrestlers.
Miz has also been the same character for the past 10 years, where Kevin Owens, I mean, it's not his fault he's coming back from an injury, and they're just repackaging him a slight bit, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Miz is way underutilized. I say that every episode. He should be the top
I mean,
heel.
Now he's in the main event.
Right. And I also think Seth Rollins likes being a heel. I don't think he likes being a face.
That's a clear cut. That's what he should be. And honestly, I would be all about Roman Reigns turning heel pretty soon. I would be all for that. It needs to happen. You know, granted, he went through that whole like leukemia thing, so it's probably going to be super hard to switch that because he had such like a delicate moment in like a soft moment where he introduced himself. But I do think he would be a very good heel, and I think they should try it. I mean, what could it hurt?
He'll never do it. They'll never do it.
See what you did there.
I don't think they'll never do it. What?
Did you see what you did there?
What?
You said he'll never do it.
Oh. I said he'll never. I said he will never do it.
Damn, that went so far over your head.
No, I get it. I'm trying to think. I think you can say he'll never do it.
I know it's. Move on. You're an idiot.
I get what you're saying. I'm trying to make sure I didn't say it wrong.
No, you definitely didn't say it wrong.
I know.
I'm just saying.
So we got.
Me.
So what else happened on Raw? So you have the AOP and Seth Rollins destroying.
Samoa Joe went through a table.
Yeah.
That's really about it.
And then really, I mean, the show wasn't live. There really wasn't much else going on. You had Becky Lynch and Asuka once again. I mean, not much. You had Randy Orton and the Vikings Raiders taking on the OC, which, I feel like, what we talked about before, AJ Styles is a guy that I think he is great as a champion. Fantastic as he's like. This brings me back to our what we were talking about earlier with Charlotte Flair not always being in the title picture. AJ Styles is great with the belt, great wrestler, but
yeah, and it doesn't even matter what belt it is.
You can't always have him be the champion. So it's just like that's why they have him as the U.S. title right now. It's just you got to give the belt to other people sometimes, despite the fact that guy really deserves. If AJ Styles could be the champion for all the time, I'd be that's great. He makes a great champion. He's a great wrestler. I mean, I think it works out at the end of the day. But sometimes you got to share the belt. And I think that's what people are getting unhappy with Charlotte Flair is that she can't always have the belt, and she seems to always have the belt. And so it's weird when you go 2 months without her being the champion.
Well, you know what they're gonna do in the end with her. Right. I mean, they're gonna make her beat her dad's record of 16 times, so she's gonna be a 17 time. I mean, she's already at like 10, belts held. I do think, though, that now that you bring up AJ Styles, I think that they need to switch belts on Shinsuke Nakamura because he hasn't done jack shit. Like, he's made the Intercontinental title irrelevant almost. He hasn't... I can't even remember the last match he wrestled in defending it, and there's just no heat around that belt. It's like the belt's lost all of its purpose. And, I mean, this can go back to The Miz. I know you're a huge Miz stan. But, The Miz brought the Intercontinental title to the forefront. It was way better than this was like a year and a half ago, but way better than the WWE Championship. And now they're burying it by putting it on a guy that's in a faction of 3 people that they don't know what to do with.
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense. I think if you have the belt, it needs to be on someone that has the most heat or the most... What's the opposite of heat?
What?
Wow, not even paying attention.
You can't see what I'm seeing. You'll see in a minute, I'm sure.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to see it.
But yeah.
Did he show up? Did he show up for his podcast today?
He is.
I'm working on the fonts.
But yeah, I mean, Raw. I thought was typical Raw. I think that's
why did you? May I ask something? Why did you change this camera angle though? I actually hate it this way.
Why?
Because I'm looking at the opposite direction. I want to be looking out. I want to be looking away.
Now I'm looking out. Before it was the opposite. That's part of the whole reason why we're in this test stage in the first couple weeks.
I don't like this.
Is that we're trying. I meant
to tell you this. If you look on Twitch right now, I don't like it because then I can't see who's coming in.
If you look on Twitch right now, I love the set that we have right now. You see the 2 ring tap.
No. Oh God!
Ring the bell, Mike. Ring the bell.
His hair's all messed up.
Yeah, I know, Tom. Come on.
Get the makeup artist on the set.
But I love this.
All 3 of them.
I love this set that's right now. You can't see it, Tyler, because it has has both TVs with the Ring the Bell logo. It has WWE 2K20 playing in the background. And it looks good. But we're testing all these different angles. And we'll find the right one that we like.
I feel like I'm getting the shit end of the stick though on this, like not being able to see it. I mean, I can see it. It looks good. I'm not gonna say it doesn't look great. But I just think that I should have at least 2 camera angles, so I can look at you at this way and then also look out. Alright, or be a hating ass bitch.
I think it looks good. But let's go over the top 20, the top 10. No, the top 20 returns of the last 10 years. Let's move into that. WWE released a list December 22nd on YouTube. The 20 top returns of the decade. You'd care to guess who's on that list at all, or no? If you had to guess,
well, John Cena's definitely on there like 3 times.
I'm looking at it right now. So I'm gonna go through them. Where's my pen?
Yeah, just go through them 20 through 1. Because if I guess the first one, I'm gonna be pissed. I want some suspense in my life.
So we had the Dudleys, return of the decade. The Dudleys return in Brooklyn.
What year was that?
It doesn't give me the year. It just has them returning.
I think that was like the Royal Rumble.
No, it was the Raw. It was the Raw after WrestleMania.
I remember that.
It was in Brooklyn. The crowd was booing. They were unhappy with a lot of stuff. And then all of a sudden, the Dudleys came down and put Xavier Woods through the table. So you have that one. Then you have, up next, you have, who's coming out here? You have Rey Mysterio returns at the Royal Rumble. They're not really giving me a number, which is kind of stupid. Seth Rollins is out talking with the return of Sting. God, the thing comes up and Sting pops out.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He was underneath like the.
And Triple H and Stephanie's
something.
in the ring, and then he tries to attack him, and then you have the Great Khali returns when they're in that what was that cage they had? It had all the spikes going up. Do you remember what that was?
Some Indian.
It was, and it's Randy Orton. And he comes down and attacks Randy Orton, shakes him off the fence. And then we have the Royal Rumble. Who comes out here?
The Punjabi prison, that's what it was called.
Oh God, Diesel returned at the Royal Rumble. Remember that? Big
That was
Diesel.
Stupid.
He's on there. And you have Elias is out.
To you, boy.
Elias is out. Bobby Lashley returns.
Stupid.
When he officially returned after leaving TNA. And then you have...
Win for a good one.
I'm going. And then you had Paige return in some Raw match with Mickie James and Sasha Banks. Whoa, I don't know what Paige was she returning from injury from a while? Then she got re-injured pretty quick, and then she was back out.
Correct.
And then we have Seth Rollins returns, remember from injury. Roman Reigns wins the title, and he gives Roman Reigns a pedigree in the middle of the ring. God. After Seth Rollins is out for a while, you had that one. And then you have The Undertaker returns against John Cena. Remember that stupid match? I think it was a WrestleMania. Remember John Cena was calling out Undertaker, he doesn't come, and then he comes and they have like a 30-second match and he pins John Cena within like seconds. It was maybe one of the dumbest matches I've ever seen.
Is that WrestleMania?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, WrestleMania. Yep. Now I see the Titantron. You have that. And then John Cena walks back down to the ring and he gives him like a pedigree. 1, 2, 3, and it's over. Or he gives him the pile driver, I'm sorry. And it's over. It's stupid. And you have Sasha Banks returns and betrays Nadia. Her most recent return. That's a top 20 return.
Natalia, you mean?
Natalia, that's what I said.
You said Nadia. I don't know who Nadia is.
Oh, I'm thinking of someone else. That was a stupid return. That doesn't deserve to make the top 20 in my opinion. Number 10, Goldberg. Now they actually give me into the numbers. They give me the numbers now. Goldberg returned top 10 when he made his official return in 2017. And then you have, who's up next? Remember Batista returned? Batista returns, attacks the cameraman in the back, and then goes down and attacks Ric Flair. Remember that?
Yes.
Pulls Ric Flair out, beats him up.
That was actually a pretty good one, even though he stuttered a ton during a lot of his promos.
Calls out Triple H.
Also, during the time that I was selling him tile to do for his gym. What's his name? Batista.
You worked with Batista, or did you work with someone who works for Batista?
I worked for a designer who, in turn, on the WWE 24 for Batista, was actually in the episode of it. She was shown painting, and I had sold her the tile. And I actually went over to Batista's house, saw him from about 25 yards away working out, looking shredded AF, probably working out for...
And what, you're just telling me this now, that you basically saw Matt Batista? Didn't really meet him, but came close to?
I told you this the day it happened in the group chat, and Mike said specifically, and I remember this vividly, saying pictures or it did not happen. And I said, I can't take a picture.
Say in our group chat once that he was at Batista's house?
He had never told us. I had no
Oh my god, that's the biggest lie.
I have vague recollection of it, but...
Yes, thank you.
Is the way it goes.
Must have been a fax that one.
Picture didn't happen. There, you heard it. That's the ruling.
That would be against my company policy. I'm not gonna break the rules.
Well, then that's fine. But you can't walk around telling that story then.
Why not?
I don't know. Ultimate Warrior returns. Number 6. No, not actually. Number 7 was Kurt Angle. That was a good return. One of my favorites, I think. Actually, you and I were there for that. Ding! Tyler and I were there when Kurt Angle returned in Orlando.
Where was that?
It was in Orlando.
In Orlando.
That was. Remember that moment? That was a great Raw. Fantastic Raw, by the way.
That was probably the best Raw of the decade.
I would say so. It was the most vocal Raw that I think I've seen in some time. To the fact
the
that
longest boo ever given to a single wrestler, to Roman Reigns.
It was awful. Number 6, God, another thing that we're at. So in 2 of the top 10 returns, we're at both of them. Can you guess who the other one is? Number 6.
The Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys returning at WrestleMania.
God, that's my number 1. That should have been.
You and I were there for that.
That was the loudest pop I've ever heard. I remember when we were there, I had like a psychic moment. It's like I knew that the Hardy Boys were coming out when they were announcing that there was another tag team. It was all around. Rumors were out. They were just leaving TNA / Ring of Honor.
So that's a question. You being a Hardy friend, loyalist yourself, can you explain why they never became the Hardy Men? As Tom
question.
just said in the background, I started laughing.
Why didn't Boys? Well, actually, Boys to Men. They're Boys to Men. Yeah, shit. I can't answer that one. Wait. So answer this for me then. Why are the Shevlin Boys still boys? Boys.
We're never called boys.
Yeah, you are Shevlin Boys.
I don't know. I don't know. I think you're off on that one.
Shevlin sisters more often.
Katie's the most manly boy in the house.
Number 5, Bret Hart returned and dressed the Canadian screw job. That was stupid, but that was number 4. Number 3. Oh, number 3 was Roman Reigns returning from leukemia.
Did you skip 4?
No.
4 or 5? No, you didn't. Okay.
No.
I just can't count today.
No, actually, that was number 4. Number 3, Shane McMahon, classic return. That was a great return. Shane McMahon
What year
coming
was
back. This was 2016, I believe. Fantastic return. One of my favorites. Can you guess the top 2?
Mine would be Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, but
The second biggest return of the last decade, Brock Lesnar returns and attacks John Cena after being gone for 10 years. Not bad.
that was a decent return because he was just coming off UFC.
And you gotta guess number 1. If you don't guess number 1, I don't know what to tell you. What is the biggest return in the last 10 years?
My brain is officially fried from New Orleans, so you have to tell me.
Tom is half correct. The Rock, but not at WrestleMania.
He came back and he was announced as the host of WrestleMania.
Thank you. Maybe Tom knows it. You don't know that The Rock coming back after like 10 years is the number one return?
That's so dumb. I thought this was returns of wrestlers that wrestled.
Wrestling history.
What? The Rock was? He went on to face John Cena at WrestleMania.
That is the dumbest return ever.
He went on to face John Cena at WrestleMania, and then wrestled again, became the WWE champion, so he was still a wrestler. Oh, come on!
He wrestled after the fact that it's return. I thought these were returns where they actually came in and started wrestling someone, like the Hardy Boys did. I'm very confused as this list. This list is baloney. I think it's stupid.
The list is coming right from WWE. I mean, the top 20 returns the last decade.
Exactly why I think it's stupid.
And The Rock being number one, it was the greatest. I would jump up and down in my bed when I saw that.
I don't think that's the greatest return of the decade, but it was a good return.
It was the best return, and the
and
crowd
I know exactly why you picked this list now is because that's number one. You're like, oh my God,
it may or may not be the reason. I cannot confirm nor deny that statement, but the fact is, it's definitely the greatest return in the last decade. I could maybe throw out one or two Stone Colds. I'm surprised. See, here's the one that should have been on here. Stone Cold returning at WrestleMania 33. That should have been on there when he came out with Shawn Michaels and Mick Foley.
Hulk Hogan returning after saying what he said.
I agree. Sasha Banks coming back and attacking Natalya shouldn't be on there.
She was coming off an injury though.
Wow, cool. Still shouldn't be on there.
I think that should count.
All right, we gotta finish up here. Anything you want to quick go over for the review of 2019 wrestling? Big year. We got a lot of changes. Was it a good?
I think the Hardy Boys got the screw job on that list. That's all I'm gonna say.
I agree. You think this year was a betterment of the wrestling world, or the? I don't think it went backwards. I think it went forward. Yeah, AEW.
Yeah, I agree. Opening up a new company, expanding on WWE to the network for NXT. I think those really, really helped and opened up our eyes to what's out there. I would say it was definitely better than 2018. There were a lot of great moments. So
I agree. I think wrestling has become relevant again and entertaining, and definitely some pop to it.
My biggest thing is I just hope that they go back to where it's a little bit edgier. Like I know AEW is kind of doing it a little bit with the language, and now SmackDown and Raw are kind of doing it. But I just want it to be a little bit edgier because I feel like wrestling, it's sports entertainment, but it's supposed to be edgier than, sports entertainment in NFL or basketball or baseball. Like, cutting promos, you should call someone, a bad word.
Maybe we'll get to that point.
I think so.
So that's Ring the Bell for this edition, the 4th episode. Enjoy the remaining of your 2019. We'll be back here in 2020. Remember, our channel fully launches the week of January 6th. The No Look podcast with Austin and Tyler are up next. Make sure this is not Wednesday, so there is no Weekend Wednesday tonight. Make sure you check out our channel this Saturday for our special 2v2 gunfight tournament. We'll be streaming that live on our channel right here at Insane Games TV. If you missed any part of this episode, you can catch us full episode on YouTube at Insane Games TV. And of course, you can watch us and follow us anywhere on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those great platforms. And that's the episode for this week. You want to cut me off over there? And then we'll be back next week and look forward to a good 2020.
Tyler's AirPods on.